Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Hello, this is Hal Coleman, and welcome to yet another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. I'm here along with my guest host, my friend, my mentor, Mike Stewart, the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Video guy.
Hey, I'll take whatever you want to call me, Hal. Hey, it's great to be here. It's great. And I'm looking forward to another episode and another discussion with my good buddy, talking about some of that marketing gold that we all love so much. What are we going to talk about today, Hal?
Yeah, you don't have any idea what we're going to talk about today, do you?
We're up to about 50 episodes, and I've never had an idea what we're talking about until we start talking about it.
Oh, that's a good thing. I like it because, I think you will like what we're going to talk about today, because you and I talk about this with our clients a lot, and that is how to handle negative comments and negative publicity. And that's something that everybody has to deal with. That there's no company on the face of the earth who's ever operated longer than 48 hours that hasn't had some negative comments and negative publicity to deal with. Would you agree?
Absolutely. There's always going to be somebody not happy about something, and that's just the nature of the world and nature of human beings. We used to say in internet marketing that 2% of the market will always cause you trouble, so be prepared for it.
Yeah, and I always I regularly talk with my coaching clients about things, and I'll say, why don't you do this? Why don't you put this on your website? Why don't you put this on your big? And they'll say, well, I'm afraid that might offend somebody. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll guarantee you it'll offend somebody, because there are people who are going to be offended by everything you do. There are people that are offended just because you woke up and got out of bed this morning, believe me. So don't worry about offending somebody. But it may offend 2 people out of 100. It may offend 2% of the people out there, but you don't design your marketing and your advertising and your growth plan to target the 2% of the people that are going to be offended anyway. You design it to appeal to the 95, 98% of the people that are going to like it. And so, my first experience with this in my own business came in 1990. I bought a one-man pest control operation. And I went out to do this lady was selling her home. She was one of my termite customers. So she called and said, my real estate lady says I need to get a termite letter, which is short here for WDO report, or wood destroying organisms report, or real estate agents know. People that are listening know what that is. I said, okay, I'll be happy to come out and do it. So I crawled up under her house, and there was some termite damage to the sill plate and band joist up in the back of the crawl space behind her garage, and it had been there, for years. And she said, my son, he's a carpenter, and he's repaired all that damage under there. I said, okay, well, that's great. So when I got under there and looked at it, he hadn't torn any of it out, nothing. He had just put up some stiff legs, some 4x4 posts propping up all of this damage. So the damage and all was still present. It was still there. It was just a absolute jackleg repair job. And I came out and I told her, I said, I can't issue a letter on this house without reporting that termite damage under there. She said, well, my son, now this was an elderly lady. She was probably 75, 80 years old. So I'm assuming her son was, 45, 50 years old. My son has repaired all of that stuff under there. He told me he has. I said, well, ma'am, it's still present. I'm sorry. It's still under there. I can't. Well, this lady now called me that night on the phone and told me that she was going to spread it all over Alpharetta that I was a crook and that I had ripped her off and that I was a liar. And, I mean, she's just screaming in the phone. She's going to do everything she can to ruin me and my business. And, oh, my gosh, here I am, a new business owner, and I've got somebody talking to me like that. And it was horrifying. I mean, it just broke my spirit. It just crushed me that I've got somebody talking about me like this, and they're threatening to ruin my business. And, of course, at that time, I really thought that one person talking bad about you could ruin your business, So, oh, man, you talk about some sleepless nights there dealing with this. But when she hung up the phone, that was the last I ever heard from her. And I never heard another word from anybody or nothing else. And I went ahead and had a prosperous, growing, profitable business. So that kind of stuff happens. I have had people, not very many, but one I can think in particular that basically kind of accused me of being dishonest in the way I wanted to sell something. And I think with my mouth hanging open, But then I thought back to, he's one of those 2% that look for things. They're so you're going to get negative comments, and when you do, you try to make it right. But if a person's going to go talk about you, they're going to go talk about you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But those kinds of people, the people that they talk to, recognize them for what they are because they know they complain about everything. So, and if you've done something, if you've made a mistake, an honest mistake, and then you just correct it. That's all you do, and that's all you can do. So you correct it, you move on, and you learn from it and try to do better. And that's the offline strategy, is you don't let the complainers and the jerks of the world ruin your day because they said something bad about you. Now, if everybody out in the community is talking bad about you, you got a problem with your business. So hopefully that's not happening. But I know that online, Mike, with reviews and all kind of things, talk about what happens online, how to deal with bad reviews and bad comments.
Well, the internet is perfect for the 2% of the complainers. I used to call them crabs, and I'll tell you why I call them crabs here in a minute, because if you've never heard the crab theory, we'll have to tell you about that. But in the online world, it's real easy for people to go to Google reviews, Yelp, Facebook reviews. There's all kinds of places that the people who usually make the effort to be vocal about their negativity are those people who have the problem that they're never satisfied. And the people who love what you do, are generally the people that don't think to take the time to give you that positive and that 5-star review. And so the way you overcome it is you don't retaliate. In fact, in the real offline world or in the offline world, I was taught by my mentor, Alex Mandozian. He says, when somebody complains and is mad, give them a refund with a smile. No questions asked. Just refund them and wish them well. He said, because if you want to get into what we used to call a flame war back in those days, one person would spew venom, and then you thought, well, I'm going to have my say, and I'm going to stand my ground, and I'm going to spew venom back at them. And you go back and forth, and then it escalates. And it's marketing rage, like road rage can get. It just gets out of hand, and lots of times there's no winners. So, you know what? a good friend of mine, marketing friend of mine, he said when people were unfair, in the wrong, because if you're a real entrepreneur, you're giving 150%, you're doing everything you can to do everything right. When you make a mistake, readily admit to the mistake you make and say, how can I make it right? And even with that, some of those people, you say, how can I make it right? There's nothing going to ever satisfy them. But if you've made the effort to make it right and they're still not happy, then just fire them with enthusiasm. Just get them out of your life and never look back, and don't retaliate. Just let them go. And the way you do that online with reviews is this is how you're going to make that 2% look horrible. You just have to ask for and get as many 5-star positive reviews on all the review sites like Facebook, Yelp, maybe Angie's List, and especially Google reviews are so important. So if there's 50 5-star reviews and 1 0-star review where they're just, calling you horrible names and saying how horrible you are, they're going to look pretty stupid. Always respond to the reviews with positive responses. And the 2% we talked about in internet marketing, don't know if that's an accurate number or not, but that's what we used to say, is that there are going to be, no matter what you do, no matter what you create, there are going to be people who are just not happy with you. They're going to call you out. I remember one time a guy called me a snake oil salesman online.
Was that me?
No, that wasn't you, Hal.
Okay.
And it was because I was selling microphones with a training package for $50 more than you could buy it on Amazon. Now, I can't compete with Amazon, but this guy called me a snake oil salesman. And I wanted to retaliate. I wanted to call him out. I wanted to tell him, and I wanted to explain to him why I was worth the extra $50 and how dare he call me such a horrible name. And I remember what Alex said. I just ignored it. I responded with, I wish you all the best. And that was the way I left it. And I never heard from him again. So,
yeah.
So let me tell you about why you're going to get negative stuff and why you've got to respond the way Hal and I've told you. You ever heard the story about the guy on the beach, and there was a bucket of crabs, and there was 4 or 5 crabs in the bucket, and the guy goes up to him and says, "Hey, your crab's going to get out of your bucket?" And he said, "No, as long as there's 2 or more crabs in a bucket, they'll never get out." And he says, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because the crabs don't want anybody else to be happy." And he said, the minute one of them starts to climb out of the bucket, the others will pull him back down in. He says, so I don't ever have to cover the bucket with crabs. As long as there's 2 or more crabs in a bucket, they'll never get out. And so that's what you have. You got crabs in the world, and the minute you try to get out of it, they're going to try to pull you down to their level. And that's why you just walk away and get away from it as fast as you can and do everything you can to do like Napoleon Hill says, go the extra mile and just fire the crabs.
Yeah, and you know what you said a while ago about giving the money back. I've seen so many PCOs in the past. Some I used to work with at another company, and then some of my associates who own their businesses. They'll have a customer complaining about their work and demanding a refund, and they will fight that person to the grave to keep from giving them back a $200 refund or a $500 or a $50 refund, because it's like once they get that money in their hands, they don't want to let go of it. And I'm like, give them the dang money back. It'll be the best marketing and advertising you ever spent, because what it'll do is it will shut down this person's anger and what you just said, wishing you well. Hope you have a great day. Here's your money back. I wish you the best. Good luck in life. And that pretty much shuts them down, you know. And they're actually sometimes, I had a customer one time who was upset and calling and complaining, and we had done like a $900 job for this guy, and a competitor of ours came along and told the guy there were some problems with it. It was actually a rodent control job, and we had done some exclusion work and sealing up. And the guy said, well, you know, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have done it this way, which, you know, there are no standards there. And that type work. So you do what you think's best. But anyway, this guy called and was complaining, and so I just didn't know what to do with him. He was an attorney too, and that worried me a little bit. So he didn't ask for anything really other than just complaining, but I sent him a check back for his full refund. I said, listen, I'm not sure what happened out there, but it doesn't matter what happened out there because you're unhappy. And if you're unhappy, that's all that matters to me. I want you to be happy. So here's your full refund for the work we did, and please let me know if there's anything else I can do. And I sent the check, and I crossed my fingers that I wouldn't hear from the guy again. But I did hear from the guy again when I got an envelope about a week later with the check back in it. He said, no, I'm not. He completely switched gears. He's, no, I don't want my money back. No, I was just concerned that maybe you didn't do something you should. I was just bewildered. But it totally, by giving the guy his money back, it totally flipped. As Tony Robbins said, it changed his state. He was in a state of anger, and when he got something totally unexpected out of the blue, it totally changed his state, and he became a nice guy after that. So, don't fight them. Like you said, don't retaliate. Don't fight them. Don't challenge them. Give them whatever they want. It'll be the best money you ever spent in your life. So you're going to get negative comments. I'm sure if you're listening to this and you've been in business over a month, you've probably already gotten some negative feedback from somebody. Don't let it ruin your day. Do what you need to do to make it right. Go over the top making it right, and then walk away and go get 20 other people that are raving fans of yours.
Absolutely. Out of every 100, there's 98 who will love what you do.
That's right. So, Mike, I think that about sums it up for today, unless you want to add anything.
Well, you know what? We have a lot of happy people that work with us, and we'd love to help you anytime. In fact, Hal and I always encourage you to call us and book some time and let us review what's going on in your world and see it through our eyes. I look at people's websites, and I incorporate a lot of the response trigger information that Hal has taught his PCOs and taught me for the PCO world. So I'd love to give you a website review. You give me a call. I give out my cell phone, 770-826-3662. Still got a Georgia number. And,
there you go.
And more importantly, I'd love to hear from you. It doesn't cost anything for us to get to know each other, because if you don't know, like, and trust me and Hal, then you're not going to want to do business with us. But when you learn, in fact, I've got a website I send everybody that calls me that has the 14 things you should be doing with your online presence. And if you're not doing all 14, our success students do all 14. So give me a call about it. And Hal, you have this amazing 1 hour you do. Why don't you tell them about it?
Well, I do, actually. I offer people a free 1 hour, and if you'll call me at 770-993-0004, what we'll do is we will set up. We'll chat for a little while, but we'll set on our schedules the time to spend an hour together. And I'm going to send you a questionnaire when we have our first chat. It's 12 questions about your business and your marketing, your advertising, and your growth strategies. I want you to fill out that questionnaire and get it back to me before our hour-long session. That way, I know a lot about your business, and I'm looking for the low-hanging fruit, the fruit that is so low you got to duck to get under it. And I can share that with you when we have our 1 hour call and give you some great information on where you can make some tremendous improvements in your marketing and your ability to capture new business. And you know what? It won't cost you a penny to do that. So why would I want to do that? Because I feel like if I can really help you and give you I want to do that the same reason that when you walk through the mall, they have a platter with chicken on toothpicks. They give you a sample, and if you really like it, they hope when you're hungry you'll go over there and buy some. So I hope and you see what I can do for you and get a sample of it. then you may be interested in getting into my coaching program where I can really work with you hand in hand and make a major impact on your business. So that's the reason why Mike and I both do this. And we hope to hear from you. So thank you for listening to this other episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. If this is the first one you've ever listened to, go to pestcontrolmarketingpodcast.com. Listen to the rest of them. There's some great stuff there. And with that said, Mike, I've enjoyed it again, and I'm wishing you the best.
All the best to you, sir.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in iTunes and on your phones and in Stitcher on your Android. But more importantly, go to our website, pestcontrolmarketingpodcast.com. Subscribe to our email list to always be notified of new episodes. You're never going to want to miss what we've got coming up next, and you never know what we're going to be able to do to help you with your pest control marketing.